Hello and welcome back to the Sphere News Show. It is time for our signature segment, See the Stories. And we go all out when it comes to See the Stories. And this is the first week of August, which is very, very important for all moms around the world. Why is that, Indra?
As we mentioned earlier, we will mark World Breastfeeding Week by discussing about the importance of breastfeeding. But before we dive deeper into the matters, let's have a look at the World Breastfeeding Week. World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated annually from August the 1st to the 7th as a global initiative aimed at promoting, protecting, and supporting breastfeeding. The World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action, or WABA, collaborates with the WHO and UNICEF to mark the special week. They aim to raise awareness about the numerous health benefits of breastfeeding for both infants and mothers.
This annual celebration aims to emphasize the important role that breast milk plays in boosting infant nutrition, reducing infant mortality, and fostering healthier growth and development. The movement also highlights the importance of creating supportive breastfeeding environments in workplaces, healthcare settings, and communities. It was also founded with the idea that mothers receive the encouragement and resources they need to breastfeed successfully. Now, I remember, Indra, when I was still pregnant with my first baby, you were one of the first one who told me, yeah, my wife got these, because I asked you about the numerous gadgets, right? And you're like, and you're like, should I buy or should I rent? And he was giving me all sorts of tips, right?
Right.
So
See,
you went through it with your wife.
Right. So I'm actually an expert on breastfeeding because I was a breastfed baby.
Okay.
I think that's what I have to ask I have to double check with my mom, but we'll see about that. But we went through that 2 whole years of the breastfeeding.
Well, it's amazing to hear. Well, I wasn't as lucky to go on full on years, but I wish I had more information when I was still pregnant before I started breastfeeding. And to know more, let's welcome midwife and hypnobirthing practitioner Jamilatus Sa'diyah. Happy World Breastfeeding Day. Jamila, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes, so you've been a couple of times here, right? And today we want to start with Breastfeeding Week, which is so important for new mothers out there. Before we start, as a midwife who help women go through the stage and so much more, what's your message to share in celebration of Breastfeeding Week?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Such as an honor for me to be here. And the theme for 2024 is closing the gap. So breastfeeding support for all, and the key message are one, this World Breastfeeding Week, let's appreciating breastfeeding mothers and they can get the support they need. And the second, breastfeeding support comes in many forms, from staff welcoming breastfeeding in your local cafe to have full advice from the health workers or maternity protection from your government. Yeah, this all help protect the baby and their rights of women and babies. And also women everywhere, the right to respectful breastfeeding counseling from trained healthcare providers, and as well as laws, policies, and like maternity leave, and also provisions like paid time off when we go back to work. Yeah.
So it's interesting you mentioned the team is actually closing the gap, because it looks like there's still a gap between some people who benefit like knowing all this and then have all the access on all this stuff. So one might wonder, what is the benefit of breastfeeding, especially for the mother and the baby itself?
Yes, breast milk is living substances. So one of the remarkable things that about it is that it is changes to fit your baby's needs. And the benefits of breastfeeding for babies are breast milk is the best nutrition and is the most complete for the babies. And it reduces the risk of disease Some diseases such as pneumonia, diarrhea, obesity, and diabetes, gastrointestinal inflammation, and also autism spectrum disorder. And third, it supports brain development. Yes, and reduce for the benefits for the mothers, reduce the risk of postpartum depression because breastfeeding triggers oxytocin hormone.
Happy hormones.
Yes, and the hormone can make the mothers feel more stable emotionally.
Yeah.
And it reduces the risk of breast cancer because breastfeeding can balance estrogen and progesterone hormones, and also can be natural birth control.
No,
For how long? For how long?
I laughed too loud on that one.
This is the three requirements for natural birth control are full direct breastfeeding at first 6 months,
Okay.
and absence menstruation, and the baby's old under 6 months.
Wow.
The baby's age under 6 months old.
But that means it doesn't apply to everybody, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was direct breastfeeding for 8 months and I still got my period after the second
thing.
month.
Yeah.
So it doesn't apply to everybody.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
Yeah.
apply to everybody.
By the way, there's one benefit actually for the father itself. You know, like the late night, like usually like when the baby's crying, if you do formula
Yeah.
drink, then the dad might have to actually mix the drink. Like when the
You
mother
get
breastfeeding,
Yeah.
the breastfeeding, like it's just the
Right.
mom has to do the whole thing. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh, you okay? All right, I'm good.
Yeah, but sometimes, sometimes we pump, and I had those moments where I was like, can you please? I need sleep, you know. And so I was lucky enough to have some stored, I guess.
Okay.
I guess, but I realized that for a lot of people it was a huge challenge to start breastfeeding. Whether it's because of physical or why doesn't the milk always come out on time or
Yeah.
something like that. So what are some common challenges that new mothers face when they want to start breastfeeding, and how can those be resolved? Is there a way for us to prepare before the birth to make the breastfeeding smoother or milk come out smoothly in time?
Yeah, some common challenges that new mothers face when it comes to breastfeeding are latching on, lack of information, and lack of support. First, we can talk about latch on during breastfeeding.
Yeah.
The shallow latch makes the nipples mothers sore.
Sore,
Sore,
It hurts.
And it can
Basically.
and it can be painful
Yeah.
during breastfeeding because the nipples mothers is inside on the baby's hard palate in there.
Because it gets stuck.
In the hard palate.
Yeah.
So the breast milk doesn't come out optimally, and the breast milk is inside, is full in the breast. And also the baby's weight will not gain optimum.
Yeah.
So a shallow latch makes the baby feels like suckle with a small straw.
Oh yeah.
So the breast milk doesn't come out optimally.
Like if you pinch on the straw.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
I
we
get
need
it.
to learn about good latch or deep latch. Yeah, good latch makes the mother feel comfortable because the mother's nipple is inside on the soft palate in there.
It's further inside. It's not right up here, but so it's a little bit more hollow, right? Okay. I get it. So I have heard recently for some mothers it's much more challenging because, let's face it, not all nipples look like that. But this is true because could this be one of the challenges as well? Because some mothers don't have nipples. I'm not
Flat
sure.
nipple?
Flat nipples. Right.
Or inverted nipple.
Yes. So
Yeah.
how does that work with mothers who don't have traditionally nipples that are easy access for the baby?
Okay, this is a good question. Biological nurturing breastfeeding is the best position to prevent problems breastfeeding. Yeah, so this position, mothers can lie back
Okay.
like that at 15 or 55 degrees, and the baby's on top of the mother's body, Skin to skin is better.
Yeah.
And also the baby can move to find the breast to breastfeeding. And gravitation makes the baby's mouth open, more expansive.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it's actually waiting. So to help that is they need the baby to actually help on the latch on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. It's been 8 years for me. I mean, all this start coming back. It's fun. I still remember some of this. I remember those memories. It was hard. I remember. She was actually the doula for Kaya's mom when she was born. And I still remember the first day it was a struggle, and we couldn't it was so little, it's barely any milliliters, and she wasn't latching on, the skin to skin wasn't working. Again, the mom was worrying, stressing out. So one of the things so one of the things one of the concerns how can we support a mother with multiple babies or preterm infants in their breastfeeding journey?
Yes. Breastfeeding is the most nutrition and the most complete for the babies, especially for preterm infants. So this is the benefit of breastfeeding for preterm infants are help protect the baby from infection. Particularly, their preterm infants are more likely to get infection. And the second, breast milk contains nutrients, hormones, growth factors to help baby to grow and develop. And also breast milk, so it is easier for baby to digest breast milk than formula milk because human milk specially designed
For humans.
from our body and baby. And for preterm infants, the baby's ability to breastfeed, it depends on the maturity, the sucking and swallowing reflex function. Yeah. So for babies with maternal gestational age over 34 weeks and weighing over 1,800 grams, babies can breastfeed directly to mothers because the sucking and swallowing reflexes are quite good. Yeah.
So for preterm, is it more difficult to latch?
Yes. Yes.
So how do you help mothers breastfeed when they're premature? The babies are premature. Do they pump and then they store, and there are different ways of giving the milk to the baby?
Yeah. For preterm infants with maternal gestational age between 22 to 24 and body weight 1,500 to 1,800 grams, the swallowing reflexes are good, but the sucking reflexes are still not good. So the mothers can pump or express their breast milk, which can given using cup feeder. Yeah, or soft cup feeder, or maybe pipette like this.
I use the pipette.
Oh, you did?
I did. I had the privilege in the hospital to have extra breast milk while I was pumping, so I told my husband to keep it so I can sleep, and he would just.
Oh, that worked.
Because I was a C-section, I was a C-section mom, and I felt like, I don't know, it wasn't, painful in a way because I was on painkillers, but I needed the rest.
Yeah.
I needed the rest.
Well,
Yeah. And for babies under with maternal gestational and under 22 weeks, which can be given use gastric or orogastric tube. In Indonesia, we call sonde.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So it depends the maturity of sucking.
With the.
Interesting.
With a pipe inside.
Yeah.
Right. So, how important is prenatal education and preparing mothers for breastfeeding? I mean, we saw pictures of you having these classes with parents to be.
Yeah, very important because according to the World Health Organization, we need to 7 contacts with lactation counselor
Ah, before.
To increase, before.
No, I didn't get to have that. I got pregnant during the pandemic, like real, right? I was during some of the worst times of the pandemic, actually.
Yeah, to
So
increase successful breastfeeding, we need to 7 contacts with lactation counselor. First, 28 of pregnant. In this session, we can get a lot of information about breastfeeding, like the physiology of breastfeeding. We have prolactin hormone, which the hormone is to produce breast milk. So if we breastfeed the baby, the pituitary can release prolactin. So breast milk can produce because the demand. So we need to breastfeeding on demand from the baby, make our bodies can produce breast milk enough for the baby. But if we are not breastfeeding on demand from the baby, the breast milk is full in the breast. So our brain can tell the body to stop or halt, produce the breast milk like this.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Can the brain tell the difference between a real baby and a pump? Because
it's the same.
Because I never had this particular part of education before I started breastfeeding. A lot of women have to work and they have to pump, right? So what do you think is the balance, the best kind of balance for working moms or moms-to-be's out there in regards to how many times you pump and how many times you have to breastfeed to make sure that the demand is always right for the supply need?
Okay.
That's the right way to formulate the question, right? Yeah.
From full-time mom, we need to breastfeeding on demand from the baby, but for mothers to work, we can express our pumping. So it depends where we.
So the brain can't tell the difference.
Yes. Okay. For the pumping, we need to express 2 until 2 hours to express our milk.
So you just make sure that even if you only see the baby in the morning and at night, you still have to during the day pump every 2 hours to make sure that the demand is met.
And also we have oxytocin hormones, which the hormone is to eject breast milk, and oxytocin hormone can release during breastfeeding, but also when we are feel comfortable, loving, get much love, but when we are stressed, pain, worried, panic, the oxytocin can decrease, so the breast milk doesn't come out optimally.
So, is there any mantras that we should do, or breathing techniques? I wish I knew this before.
The meals also. This is like all coming back, like like what kind of food you have to eat, and then it's funny, like you mentioned that. I still remember, like there were times, there were times, like not there are times, there were times, there were days like. When my baby girl, like she didn't want to latch on or she didn't want to breathe, and then we're panicking like she didn't want to, like we create more stress, and like at the same time like the mother, you're right, is there like a mantra, like something that to ease that stress, so the mom can actually produce or like release or whatever that needs to be done. Is there any support that needs to be given to the mother?
For family, we don't give negative comments or judgment to mother stress. And as a family, we can provide ourselves food and drinks, because during breastfeeding, sometimes the mothers feel hungry.
All the time. I had to have snacks in my bag. At least, I don't know, nuts, almonds or something. I'm munching all the time.
And during breastfeeding, it's challenging to spoon food. So as a family, we can spoon food to eating to mothers, or maybe just provide food. It's very helpful for mothers.
I remember there's like some massage or something that you can...
For husband or father can do an oxytocin massage.
Oxytocin massage.
And for husband can be involved in caring of the baby, like bathing of the baby, massaging the baby, holding the baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's all coming back.
Or, washing the pump, pump,
Yeah, do
pump
house-
parts,
yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
do housework, yeah.
There you go.
I have another story on that one.
So we will be right back with you. We're going to take a short break, and Bidan Mila is going to show us breastfeeding tips that every parent should know. And I'm taking notes if I ever going to have next week. Next week? No? Stay tuned.